at least we are live now. You are ready, Anil?
He's ready.
All right. Yes, we are live. Okay, hey guys. So, welcome to yet another episode of Unfiltered Immigration. Uh, uh, if you don't know me, my name is Anuj, and on this channel, I try to spread the awareness on discrimination faced by high skilled workers based on their country of birth. And we have an exciting episode today. And in today's episode, I thought about like doing a kind of an audit, right? That what is the situation of the advocacy as it comes to this issue of green card backlog or this discrimination faced by high skilled workers based on their country of birth, right? Because one way, if we look at it, right, that the issue still exists, and if we look at it as a black and white thing, that okay, issue still exists, so whatever we did so far has not worked, or like waste of time or something like that, right? But and another way we look at it is that want to see that are we making progress in the right direction, is things are improving in terms of advocacy, in terms of awareness and that kind of thing as well, or are we going back as well, right? So it's not something it can always progress. So a lot of the people will also agree that the advocacy is not good as it used to be in 2019 before the COVID. So so the advocacy and the awareness can improve or decrease as well, because people who are in the backlog, they can exit and the new people can join the backlog as well, right? So now the percentage can go up and down. So thought about getting together and getting together some of the guests who are actively advocating in various different ways to get, they are very active on these issues, and they will try to give the best answer as possible. So we'll get like many different perspective. And just to, before we get started, it's kind of like giving you kind of an example of how things are changing, at least what I have noticed, right? Is one thing, let's say that just collectively speaking like this, that the four people are doing the advocacy or like doing this kind of talk live, that kind of thing, if you try to look it up, that doesn't exist like 2 years ago. You can search the internet that okay, like four people advocating with their own names, that kind of things was not a thing as far as I know, right? And one thing, personally speaking, that when I started advocacy, there was before I started, I didn't notice anyone talking about uh, associating this issue with the student and work visa. And a lot of people, I think, that just accepted that okay, non-immigrant visa doesn't have country cap, immigrant visa is country cap, and like no one asked why. And a lot of the advocacy I see was kind of like also just that okay, we shouldn't have to wait this long and give us green card and that kind of thing, right? So how that narrative is changing over the years and that kind of things. So anyways, we'll talk about a lot of the questions, but anyways, we have our regular guest who kindly agreed to give the time to join this conversation, and I'll let them introduce, give some time to tell about themselves as well. But yeah, we have Rahul from Area 150, Area 150, Area 51.
51, Anuj. I'm offended.
Area
I was
150.
150, it seems.
Yes, I always remember somehow with the alien, like so, and we have Anil who is writing blogs on immigration before immigration started.
Yeah.
And we have Padma who keeps this advocacy fun always online. So thank you guys for joining. If you want to say something about, because we shouldn't assume that we have only have repeated viewers. There might be something, someone new joining, right? So if you want to say something uh, about yourself, go ahead and I'll start. There is also a question in that uh, before you came to the United States, uh, did you know about the issue we are talking about? And if not, when did you became aware about that issue? And let me start with myself. So if you have to think about that, so I came to United States in 2009, and at that time when I came, I had no idea about this issue. There was something that okay, like Indian takes little bit more time, but nothing more than that. One thing I didn't know also, and didn't care much about that as well, but one thing I thought is that okay, if you file your green card 1 year late, you get your green card 1 year late. And that was kind of the understanding I had for a long time. And one thing led to another, and I guess in 2019 my I-140 was approved. And after that approved, then we start thinking about next step, and then I realized that okay, what is happening? And the more you know about it, uh, the more
The less you want to know.
yeah, it was like how crazy it is, so then I learned more and more, but that's about me. All right, guys, you guys take it over.
So I can go next. So
Yes.
I also like moved to this country in 2009. So in 2009, the when I moved to this country, I sort of knew there's like a priority date, and the priority date was
Hmm.
2008. In 2008, so it didn't really made. I mean, it was like okay, yeah, and I mean, yeah, we'll find it. We will find it out. And like I got my green card filed in 27. My priority date is 2017, but the reason I got my priority date started. I had to make it urgently getting this process done is because that's when I realized in 2016 2017 that I think even in 2016 the priority day was the current date was 2008. So since I came to America, like until 2016 2017, it was still in 2008. It didn't move. That's when I started to panic and get the I-140,
Right.
get that thing out,
Uh,
because I had to extend my H-1B again.
uh,
And it was still in 2008 until the 2020 pandemic. Until if it was if not for the pandemic, it would have stayed in 2008. People act as if oh we all got our green cards, but thanks to COVID,
yeah,
they got
yeah.
all, and thanks to the Trump
It-
administration who stopped the family green card, that's why they all got the 150 to 100,000 green cards. Otherwise, everybody would have been stuck in the same. That's when I mean it's bad. Like even today, it's like 2012. Last time I checked, so yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's one of the reason why it was very strong, the advocacy in 2019, and that COVID thing is one of the
It
very
was
big
like a
reason.
blessing in disguise.
Yeah. Anyways, you guys don't have to tell your priority date, by the way.
It didn't
I
matter.
was just.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
uh,
I mean, for me, Anuj, I had no clue. It's I think I mentioned this earlier, right? I grew up in the Middle East, right? So one of the main reasons I decided not to pursue a career in the Middle East because there was absolutely no path to citizenship.
and you thought that okay,
Absolutely, yeah.
this thing cannot exist in
Yeah,
United
there's
States. Is
absolutely no way. I was like, I will not stay in a country that will not give me citizenship. So then I applied. I did my GRE, came to US, and then at that point, you're not so worried about these things, right?
right?
College life is chill, and then you give first. Big struggle is, oh my god, will I get my H1B, right? Once you get your
Yeah.
H1B, they're like, okay, what's next? And then I find out that things are back home better in Dubai because there's no concept of citizenship, right? Here they'll dangle it in front of you, right? And you're just constantly running, right? But that's it.
Also, they don't
That's the
take your
big.
taxes as well.
And you don't pay taxes. Here I am paying taxes since day one.
Yeah.
Like from a student worker onwards, right? You're paying taxes, and you're nowhere close to citizenship. So I had no clue. I had heard about it, like Padma said, but unless you are in it, you don't realize the gravity of the situation, right? You're like, okay, things. probably you don't understand the nuances also. What's a priority date? What's the visa bulletin? Are things moving forward? Unless you're actually in it. So
Yeah.
so by the time I learned, I was already too invested in the game to to turn back. And yeah, here I am, vlogging with you guys on a Monday night.
Sometimes we do in weekends, which Monday night is not
Great.
bad.
Yeah. I mean, when you are in the backlog, you've got a lot of time to try
Right.
everything,
Like
right?
Friday night, what's the best thing to do on Friday
Yeah.
night? Talk about immigration.
I remember once the last time Anil left a party to come join a live
I
stream.
know.
Right?
Yes.
I was like, wow, that's yeah, that speaks volumes
That's
about us.
commitment.
Man. Okay, Anil.
Yeah. I got to know about this, you know, AI, you know, the visa bulletin stuff that they create using the artificial intelligence in, immediately after the perm was filed, because there were a lot of people in the office. They used to talk about it, but because if you're new to the country, you can't really figure out what is the bulletin and what's
Right.
happening, what
Right.
those dates mean for you. But once you are in the queue, you get your date, then you know this is the date that they're talking about. Then you start learning about those, because not learn you because in office people usually talk about these things. Then you get the hang of it, that you are so far behind. There are so many
Right.
desis there who in the kitchen, in the pantry, they're talking about it. They are all ahead of you. And you and seriously,
They are like, you don't talk about green card. We're still waiting for
Yeah.
15 years.
exactly. And you won't believe, early, like in the first 6 months, I used to wish for them that you get green card quickly, you know, so
But
that I move ahead in life.
Uh,
But then slowly and gradually, I just lost everything. And then I started learning about those things about immigration, what it actually means. It's and to be frank, I'm half attorney right now.
Yeah. That's
In fact,
right.
all of
everyone
us,
in the
all of
office,
us, yeah.
everyone
Seriously,
in the
like,
office is an attorney in itself.
like I'd said in earlier, like when you graduate with your masters in something, you also get a minor in immigration law. It's like by
Right.
default, as
Yeah,
whether you want it or not, you'll get it. Yeah.
yeah.
exactly.
Rahul,
In fact,
Rahul is
I have
certified
spoken
expert
to.
by Hindustan Times.
Visa expert.
They have a source there, right? Someone in
That's really hard to like remove that, but apparently yes. Yeah. Never mind. Yeah, it's a different conversation.
Anyway, so next question, not related to audit. This is the only GK question which has like a right or wrong answer. Okay, so
Uh-huh.
this is related to issue. The numbers I will give you is kind of imaginary, but the country cap is real. Okay, so let's take any country, like let's say Mongolia, right? Now let's say that
Never guessed that.
fiscal year, let's say fiscal year 2025, the quota for the green card family based is 100,000,
Right.
just to make it simpler, and employment base is 100,000. How much green card uh, quota Mongolia would have?
The same 7%.
Employment based category.
7%, no?
Yeah,
7% of that, right?
Yeah.
but what would be the number?
7,000.
Yeah.
Anil, Rahul.
Yeah, it should be 7.
7,000.
Okay, so
We all have postgraduate degree and
okay,
I would say- I'm revoking. Yeah, I'm revoking your EB category visa. You're not extraordinary.
Wait for it. Do you think that the country caps are applied individually to the family-based category and employment-based category, or combinedly?
Individually, right? It's not combined.
individually.
It's applied combinedly.
Get out. The 7% is combined?
Yes.
No.
And I
No.
know that you guys won't believe it.
Are you? No.
So what?
Yeah,
So all the
because
people are waiting. Good.
because the family quota is also on
You
top
guys
of
see, you
140.
guys see the screen, right? Can you guys
Oh,
see the screen?
damn, Anuj.
You
I thought it
gave
was
me
separate,
proof.
man. I thought the
So
7% was purely
let me
employment.
read the
Current limit does
statement.
not apply
The INS
separately
per
to family-based
country
line or
does
employment.
not apply separately to the family-sponsored line or the employment-based line, nor does it apply separately to individual preferences category. It is applied to the aggregate total across all categories, right?
So
What does
let
that
me.
mean in the simplified way is that let's say Mongolia is not sending any family-based immigrants,
Right.
then their quota is 14,000 in the employment-based category. And
Okay.
if Indians has already sent 7,000 for family-based,
No,
and
it's
then
if it's
there are
14,000,
people.
it's 7% each, right?
No, it's applied. So total quota of the green card in employment plus family base is 200,000,
Okay, like that.
and the cap is applied uh,
Across.
aggregately.
Right.
Okay.
So if they have
But-
not met their family based quota, then they still not met their 7% cap combinedly. So their quota
Got
is
it, got it, got it.
14,000.
No, I thought 100,000 was
Right. So
total.
there is 14,000, and think about it that okay, uh, if India has already sent 7,000 family-based immigrants, and then there are EB1 people waiting, and Mongolia there is no EB1, no EB2, but they have 14,000 EB3 applicants, then they will get it.
Yeah.
While EB1.
Yeah.
So the EB3 will get the EB3 applicants from Mongolia will get all the 14,000.
Right. So more.
So what happens if they are like okay? What happens if they are like 10,000? Which gets preference? Which gets
No, it's
priority?
always there's a certain percentage for each of the E categories. I think it's if you look at
So
the bulletin, they've written it. I think some 30% for EB1, some,
Yeah, that,
another
that is
30-40%
different.
for
Like,
EB2, and then like
yeah,
that.
EB1, EB2, EB3 is like 40,000, 40,000,
Yeah, each
40,000.
have their own
But
percentages.
as long as that cap is not met, 7% cap,
It
is
applies
not
to the
met.
other one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
No. My question was not that. So let's say if take the same example, right? Like what if they are for Mongolia if they are like 10,000 family-based applicants who applied, and then there are like 10,000 more in the employment category. So which 6,000 will not get the chance?
depending on it, once they start issuing, they keep track, right? So if they have already
First in, first
issued
out?
family base 10,000 to Mongolia, then their cap it's gonna be only 4,000 left for employment.
For the employment based.
Yes.
Oh,
In the
God.
given year, it cannot increase more than 7% unless there is a spillover, like at the end.
that
If
never
there
happens,
are, so they will keep track that a single country is not getting more than 7%.
So they are just looking at applications and like one application at a time. So both employment and family are like a bunch of
as long
applications
as they
together,
are
and
approving,
just
they are
looking-
keeping
Yep,
track
yep,
that okay,
yep.
this went to this,
God.
this. Anyway, so yeah.
I think 100 years is like a very generous estimate.
Right, I know. So, all right, now we get into this, but keep in the mind that this issue is so complex, and there are a lot of aspects we still like learning every day, right? So, okay, let's begin the audit. So, like,
That was a learning for me for sure.
Yeah, even I didn't know that. Even I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, even I didn't know that.
yeah,
And
there are
yeah.
these are like we dig deeper. This issue is like getting insane and insane.
So the only way to get the dates faster is we need just one more pandemic where it should not kill anybody, but we should everything else should.
I don't know about that.
Not necessarily pandemic. Trump is enough.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what's funny? I was looking at the visa bulletin, right? There's even a backlog for religious workers. Forget tech. There's a
That should be
for
that,
religious workers.
We are testing the system in America.
Look at this, right? If you look at the November employment base, right? The filing dates for certain, what is it? fourth is January 2021. Can you believe it? That's a backlog for them.
But I guess
Does the date
United
translate to, like,
States,
if you are
I
in
don't
employment EB1 and
think
then
they
you
have
decide to
US, I
change
don't
your
think so.
job?
They have like shortage of religious worker though. Anyways,
I
Apparently,
should look at that
apparently
one
not,
day.
Anuj. But yeah, there's you know
guys.
how I looked at it, because in these attorneys, right? Stephen keeps posting analysis, right? He accidentally skipped religious workers once, right? And someone commented on Twitter, "Please don't skip religious workers. We are also waiting for updates." And I was like, "Oh my god!" Probably in the middle of a puja, is taking his phone, waiting for the bulletin to move forward.
All right, guys. Let's our first question. let's begin the.
Anuj, you're like a teacher, man.
I
You
know
bring it-
it's half an hour. We haven't even got to
We are in the weave, and you're bringing us back to the point.
yeah. Anyways,
Yeah,
the
people
first
will leave.
question: how many students and skilled workers coming here are aware about Indians don't get green card? Not about the issue, just like that there is not the nitty gritty of the issue. Just there is an issue.
Can I answer in a percentage?
Yeah, percentage is
Zero.
That's
Nobody knows about it. This the even like ve- it's surprising that the Indian media outlets also have not picked up on this, and it's picking up now. Like you see a lot of articles, like you see articles now, but it's just surprising that over the last how many of a years when this has been happening, no one thought that this was a concern big enough for us to actually talk about it, right? We've got the largest number of F1 visas issued consistently over many years, right? If you look at 2023, it's almost, what is it, 160,000, something like that. That's the amount. 130,000. That's the number of F1 visas issued.
right.
But no one bothered educating the public in India, stating that, hey, you know what, this is the reality that you have going when you go there. It's not a bed of roses, right? You go there. First of all, you have a lottery which is based on luck. Once you get past that lottery, even if you have the cure for cancer, if you get past that lottery, right, then you have 100 years wait. Close. How many ever years? If you manage to get your perm filed, within 14, 15 months, whatever is going on right now, avoid layoffs, pandemic and everything, and you hit that checkpoint, you have 40, 50 years. Best case scenario. Yeah, but it's catching up now. I feel like sometimes I've gotten students message me right now on LinkedIn and couple of other places asking questions about this, and I feel like the tide is changing.
Right.
It's not where we want it to be, but it's much better than a few years ago.
Right.
Again, I'm comparing it to when I came in 2016. I didn't have a clue. So it's not where we want it to be, but much better.
Right.
So progress.
Yeah, and I think Indian government should take it.
No,
I mean-
Padma. That's what is
Don't
how
answer
many
the second question in the Viva, Padma, before the first is answered.
The first question is that how many percentage you think, how many students or workers coming here already know about that there is some kind of issue?
I would say, like, I would be very generous and say 6 people. Nobody would do. Nobody does. Those
That's
6
a-
have some
that's
family.
It's more generous than me, Padma. You 6.
How about you, Anil?
In my experience, I think pretty much everyone knows that there is a big issue, but they
Oh,
are
this
still
is a
ignoring.
this is generous.
Also, the
Yeah.
gravity is not very.
Yeah.
The gravity of the issues. I mean, again, you know what I say? It's you see people jumping and from something, and you're like, oh, you know what? Let me also try it and then see what happens. And then you fall and then you break everything, and then you're like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done it.
And also,
So
I
the-
think
Let Anil.
Yeah,
Continue.
the person coming on H1B visa for job does not know about it at all. They get a shock or a surprise when they hear about it here. But person who is coming on F1, in my experience, knows everything. They have done their research because they are taking it as an investment. So they have done their due diligence and they know that there is a problem. But then they have also found out a way to mitigate it.
Okay.
Which is- which
based
is-
on the
to an American.
My
yeah, based,
Oh, okay.
based on so based on the people I have spoken to, that's my experience.
Okay. I think that what I observed is that at least now there is more awareness that there is some kind of issue. Probably at least 10%. I think that coming here knows already the they don't know the issue, like why, but they know that the issue exists. At least 10
Um,
20% now know this, that okay, like we're not gonna get the green card if they
But yeah, to
apply.
everyone listening, I highly recommend you constantly keep talking about this, right? You
Right.
like
You people
every
need
single
yeah,
that.
platform that you have, just keep talking about this, just so that you educate the future people coming in,
Right.
right? I mean, for
and
us now, maybe it's a
especially
little tough, not impossible, but a little tough. But if it's someone new figuring out, saying, "Hey, I'm still planning out my education. Maybe I can look at another country." If see again, from an earning potential standpoint, US is unparalleled, right? If it's a
Yeah.
short-term thing, if you
Mm.
want to go, come study, get a degree, get some experience, make some money, and go back, US is number one. But if you want to settle down, get citizenship
But
and stuff, maybe think
but
it
that's
twice.
I don't like when you're doing I just imagine it, like at least in my case when I was doing when I wanted to do my masters, it was always like let's go like it was more like okay let's I did whatever I could in Hyderabad. Let's go visit the world, and once I come to America, the first 2 years will be like happy go lucky, finish your
Yeah,
masters, new lifestyle, new love, new world. And
yeah,
once you finish your masters, you'll be like okay, government is like okay I'll give you 2 years if you want to get some
Mm-hmm.
experience. And
yeah,
while you do your 2 years, then you'll be like okay, your company will be like hey, if you want to work more we can file your H1B.
yeah, yeah,
Then they'll file your H1B. Then it's like a one thing at a time. You're not
yeah,
looking at
yeah,
okay in a 10-year span what will happen. So then once
Mm-hmm.
you're in your H1B, you'll be like okay, I have to pay back my student loan. I'm zero now, so let me save some money. And by the time you do that, you're closing, you're hitting your 30, you're closing to your 30 years age, and that's when you'll be starting like you'll probably have a girlfriend here, you probably have all your close friends are here,
Right.
your entire life is here in the last decade, right? So then you once you get married with your girlfriend or even like arranged marriage, even in that case you're promising the girl that you will stay here. And that is like this is like a critical talk you would have with your wife, would be wife, before marriage if
uh,
it's an arranged
and
marriage,
there
right?
and there will be a trend soon. There wo Kundalini na mila ke na they will match the
I know
green
Ah,
card.
that's
how
a
fun.
business
Green card hai to
idea.
theek hai.
So I mean
Anyways,
these
guys,
are all like
so the
small things that
follow-up
you keep
question,
moving
Padma.
forward. Yeah.
So now,
Jyotishi will add a new point. Out 37th point, green card.
Right.
anyways, guys, follow-up question. So now we know that very few people knows about this. Anil disagrees kind of that he says now that most of the Indians or not like most of the people coming on the student visas they have done due diligence and most of them know. But now like out of these people who knows about this issue, how many of them understand that why this issue is there, like the kind of like is it
I mean,
no
that's we are still learning things
right.
today, Anuj.
Mm-hmm.
You just
You
found out.
taught us something today, and we've been actively in this space for a while now,
Mm-hmm.
right? So expecting someone brand new to understand the nuances. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's impossible. There's probably a few very dedicated and smart folks who've like broke consumed
Uh-huh.
enough content to understand it. But for like for the larger population, I highly doubt it. We understand the nuances of EB1, EB2, EB3, and stuff.
Yeah.
It's and I do it right because we like as part of the podcast we run a community group, right, and we support folks with questions and stuff. And some of the questions you get in the group, right, like you can tell that they're very raw because they've just started their journey into the
Right.
immigration
Uh-huh.
system. So yeah, I wouldn't say a high number. There might be a few outliers,
Right.
but not a large percentage.
Yeah. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Rahul would have like because it's a big community, and Rahul would have like almost a good pulse on like where people are, like what are their like thoughts
Mm-hmm.
and what are their questions. Generally, I mean, maybe if there'll be
And I
exceptions.
feel bad also, Padma. You're in the group, right? Some of the questions when you see, you're like, oh shit, like, is as soon as this, can I directly apply for my green card? And I'm like, damn, like, how do I like, tell them no?
Yes, you can apply. The answer yes, you can apply, but you might not get an answer right away.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is what it is, I guess. Yeah.
Anil, are you muted?
Mute. Yeah, so the beauty of the system is you can apply anytime, any number of times.
Right.
They're happy to take your money.
I know.
It's after all a capitalistic country.
You
So
can file four AB4, AB 140s,
That'll be funny, right? You have a race. You have a horse in each category. Whichever one reaches first, I'll take it.
But I always imagine like we do like work with a lot of we do see a lot of immigration lawyers who help us out with our cause. But I always remember, I always when you think about it, like they don't have an incentive because like let's say hypothetically, if they clear out the green card backlog or whatever just they get rid of the country cap, and if it is current, there'll billions of dollars of immigration law who get paid. They're all are gone. Like that's
That's
like a huge chunk of economy.
Yeah.
It's not like a easy. It's not easy money. It's like, do they really want billions of dollars going away from them? It's a hard question to ask them when we are talking to them because they are helping us out. But you should also think about that.
I hope Padma, your attorney, is not watching this.
right.
My attorney actually told me like so when my priority date when they issued the priority date, there was a mistake on the priority date. It was supposed to be November 11th, but they printed out November 17th, and
Oh,
so I was already I was planning to move out of that company because I stayed there for too long. And then I was like, she was like, no, we have to go and correct it. And I was like how does it really matter? Like 7 days, how does it? Then she was like, it could be year, it could be 10 years.
You were like 7 days. What's the big deal?
And then I was like, okay, let me just wait for a few more months and get this corrected, and then
yeah, that put things in perspective for you, huh?
yeah, I was like, oh God, this is bad.
Anyway,
Because I
so-
remember there were a couple of people who had like I think the previously the priority date was the current date was like 2008 August 10th or August 12th around that, and I know a guy whose priority date was September 20th or something like that, and he was waiting for like 8 years just to move a month. He was just
Jeez.
waiting there.
Yeah.
Nothing was moving. That was really
Damn,
bad.
dude. Oh my God. But I think in this group, I think the person who has the maximum EP categories is probably Anil. I think he's got like.
Anil was probably in all
Like, Anil has 2-3. The only thing left is him learning some prayers and start going in the religious workers category also.
You won't believe I've tried that.
But like, what is does the priority date translate? Like, since I have 2017, can if I become a religious worker?
No, it's only
could I-
EB1, EB2, EB3.
Without Padma try to work the system.
Yeah. So yeah, it can be moved within 1, 2, 3, but not two others.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. You can
God.
vote.
That's why I dropped the idea of 4.
You okay,
Yeah,
next.
otherwise I would have been giving those,
Sermons.
सबके घर housewarming करा रहा होता मैं
Yeah.
सबके।
Right.
Kailas part 2 will be Anil.
Or weddings.
You Nityananda part 2.
There'll be a lot of no. Anyway, go ahead.
Next.
Yeah, sorry,
next
Anuj.
is,
You're back. You're back.
Back. So yeah, going one step deeper. That how many out of the people who now we know that very few knows about it. Out of them, who are like actively doing something for a solution, like advocacy or something.
I think there's a dedicated few.
Right.
Yeah. Dedicated few is a good answer.
I mean, if you look at these, if you look at like Twitter or the groups that obviously we are all active, like there's a decent sized number. It's still, I guess, probably, I mean, probably like a % of the backlog community. If it's like what they're saying, it's like million backlog people are there, right?
I don't
These
think
groups
so.
probably.
Per person would be 10,000, right?
Oh yeah, less than a %. I was trying to give some credit. Less than a %.
In fact, I have noticed one strange thing is whenever I crib about immigration on Twitter, I get like 20, 30,000 views of that tweet. And whenever I talk something sensible, nobody even reads.
You've cracked the social media game, Anil.
So, I mean, the only thing left every morning for me is to crib.
You're not wrong though, right? Like
No,
I did
that's
the 75-day hard. Okay, I did this. I lost like some 30 pounds. I read like so many books. I was so proud of my achievement. Okay, and I wrote a tweet on Twitter thinking, I was like, oh, I'll inspire people. Okay, got like one like and like one comment. Someone's like, you shouldn't lose weight so much, blah 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 blah, something like that. I just wrote H1B system is backlog, 20,000 reposts. I was like,
People,
shit.
I think there is too much frustration among
Yeah, yeah,
people
yeah.
that they just want to hear someone say their heart out. That's it.
Yeah,
And
it's
they like that way, right? Because they can't say it or they don't have that voice. They just want it to hear it from someone.
but yeah, I think for the people who are doing it actively, I think it's good. I mean, I'm very glad and I'm proud of them. And I'm going to say a
Mhm.
huge thank you from all of us. It's
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
me
very
too.
often you see
Yes.
people raising their voices like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
Mhm.
and obviously you guys included, but like all the others who are doing it right in the groups, they'll keep calling the Senate, their state representatives, and they'll post their updates and stuff. It's very inspiring to see that because you know that they're actively going ahead and doing it, but somehow that message and that spirit needs to be transferred to the larger public. I don't
Yes.
know
Yeah.
how. I think it's just all we can do is do things like what we're doing right now,
Right.
openly
Yeah,
speak
yeah,
about it,
yeah. That's
like
Right.
those posts and Anil said. I mean, it's one way to call it cribbing, but in another way, I'm seeing that you're actually empowering a lot of other people to also do the same when they see you do it, right? And
mm-hmm.
you've got a pretty
Yeah.
decent following on Twitter. So when
Mm-hmm.
that couple of thousand people see you, they're also inspired to do the same, and then eventually
Mm-hmm.
we'll build a movement, I guess. So
Yeah. To give you
Yes.
an update, I had filed one lawsuit against USCIS for AOS retrogression
Mm-hmm.
and with Benias,
oh,
Mm-hmm.
Brad, yeah.
Brad Benias, but that lawsuit it reached Supreme Court, but then they rejected the case. So
Oh
Yes,
no
shit.
I think
progress
I
there.
followed that case. Was
Oh, it
it?
was a recent.
I think no,
Yeah,
couple of years, 2 years.
yeah,
No,
it
it
was
just
filed in
recently
20,
went to Supreme
yeah,
Court, right?
it was yeah, it went to Supreme Court earlier this year,
Yeah.
but then the Supreme Court denied even hearing it. So
Hmm.
with
Damn,
the
Anil,
journey
sorry, man.
ended.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did
that's
you end up
That's
spending
it.
a lot? Did you end up spending a lot?
I did spend a lot, but
Damn, dude.
all the
Yeah.
EB5 money he had.
All the details on the EP5.
uh,
Uh,
I mean, you
that's
and I think of it, looking at it in a positive light, right? And you're openly speaking about it,
right, yeah,
openly
that's
talking about it is something, but to have the guts to go one step ahead and
right,
actually
yes.
file a lawsuit, I,
Yeah.
so
So I,
That's
I get a lot of this as well that you don't go to these events and this and that. Basically, I chose a different path. I chose
yeah,
the legal way,
yeah.
but
yeah,
challenge the government and the policies. And
Right,
I expect like just like Anuj did, he spent his own money and spread the awareness, right? I did
yeah.
it the other way.
right. No,
So
yeah,
everyone is
that's
doing
what I
at their
agree
level
that
and
That's
their
a good
everyone doesn't
point,
need
also, Anil.
to.
Yeah, it's a very good point. Let's not bring each other down, right? And we
Right.
do that. I mean,
Yeah,
unfortunately,
yeah.
if it's like, oh, this is the only way to do advocacy, and
No.
if you don't follow it, you're a loser. No, let's not do that, right? If someone's comfortable doing something else, let's just,
I have the problem
yeah.
with the people not doing anything at all, then like doing it my way.
I don't
This
understand.
is a different tip.
I mean, if you go to any tech, at least in the Bay Area, I don't know if it is the same case in other states and cities, but at least in the Bay Area, if you go to any tech company, any large tech company like Google, Apple, or Amazon or Facebook, you would see a significant percent of them are Indian engineers from India.
Mhm.
Like it's like I would say 70-30. I would not even and you when you talk to them, you can find out they are like very recent, moved to America very recently, and all of them are Indian and they're waiting in this green card backlog. And not a single person actually goes and asks to their immigration lawyer or their manager or anybody else asking, hey, like this is bad. Not a single person asks, like because you see in all these big companies, they're all
Because
a
they've
lot
given
of
up
these,
or they don't care. What's the reason, Padma?
they don't know what to do. They don't
They
know
don't
that
know
we
what
can
to do.
actually ask. They don't know. I don't think, at least I'm thinking in my own time, they don't even think they can ask. So if you see in any of these big companies, right, there are all these uh, social groups. Like there's a group for Asians, for Asians in America, immigrants for XYZ, and a lot of these groups. And not a single time I have seen it. I've worked in like 8-9 companies so far. Not a single time I saw a group for immigrants, Indian immigrants in this backlog.
Yeah.
and that is the biggest community in that company because of the sheer size. That won't even be like a side 5 people like not showing up for the meetings. It'll be the biggest community, and nobody shows up. This is very bad. I don't know what. I mean, that reminds me of. I think I said it previously as well. That reminds me of what I read this Gandhi's autobiography long time ago.
Uh-huh.
Gandhi went around the country for 2-3 years, just telling people that you're giving food. That was like the biggest task Gandhi had in India during the colonial empire, telling that dude, they're screwing you. You got to wake up. That was like the big after, and then once people started realizing they're getting screwed, that's when the whole non what do you call
Violence,
the
Yeah.
non-violence.
non-violence movements, like not
Yeah.
use the foreigner clothes and all of those started after that. But the first 2 years you went around the country in that passenger train
I know.
Yeah.
throughout
Yeah.
there telling people, hey guys, you are getting
I just realized Anuj is our version of that. He's the backlog
he said
Gandhi.
he is from Gujarat.
Yeah, so Gujarat also went to all 50 states.
I know. The Gandhi, when he did Dandi March, he stayed in my school for one day.
Okay.
uh,
I
maybe
think you
that's
got
the
some of that spirit in you, Anuj.
right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
तो तभी तो
I mean,
लोग कहते हैं अनुज अनुज तुम आगे बढ़ो हम तुम्हारे साथ
No one has said that yet.
अनुज मुड़ के देखता है तो कहाँ है
अनुज आप बहुत आगे चले गए. But anyway, I think that is the biggest problem we have. If
It's
like,
really
if
sad,
we
no,
just
Padma. I mean, if
figure-
you think about it,
uh,
like they're not even. They've just.
all this
I don't
like
know.
I'm not just talking about the regular engineers. Even people are in the leadership, like the VPs and the directors. Most of them are still on H1B waiting for the green card to be approved, and
So, do
they
you
can't even
guys, veterans, like you who are out there, do you guys consider like hosting these things where you can actually empower the newer generation to speak up more?
So multiple things. Right? Like the challenge I see is like, especially in my age group, all my friends, they are like busy with their lives. They have wife and kids,
Yeah,
and they're
yeah,
like most of the time
Right.
goes around it, and then they have very challenging work. So between these, most of it goes away. But
like not having time. You know,
Yeah.
that's.
No, but you've cracked the
But-
code, Padma. I mean, you've got
I
family
didn't.
and kids too, right? I mean, you're also still finding time. No, I'm just saying, you're also finding
yeah,
time.
finding
Right.
time.
Yeah.
But I only I mean, because I was frustrated with the whole point. Like everybody is getting their way in immigration. If you look at everyone who's getting their way in immigration, Iranians get their way in immigration, undocumented people get their way in immigration. Only Indians, for whatever reason, we don't. And I mean, do you think Sundar Pichai doesn't know there's a green card backlog?
No.
He probably has a family member in his own family who comes to his house on weekends who's in the backlog. Same thing with Satya Nadella. His name is Satyanarayana. So he probably knows somebody from Hyderabad who is stuck in that
He's the
backlog.
face of
Everybody
H1B.
knows. It's just that they don't even talk about it. Like if people in power don't talk about it, we don't even have a chance. They need to like, or at least like one. Okay, maybe at that level, maybe they are still diplomatic. They
I'm
have
sure
to
the
like have
company's
some.
restrictions probably
Okay.
tying that.
Anyways,
Yeah, but what about
let's-
the one level
guys,
step down people?
Come back.
Anuj, you're killing such good conversation,
I
man.
know, because I want to get to this question without them
Okay.
discussing like the solution or the reason behind what.
You know,
the
you know what?
issue
I'll
is.
tell Anuj
Okay.
is MO, okay? He asks his questions to build it up. Okay. And he is concerned that we're talking about such random things that build up question will get lost.
Right. Okay.
What's the next question, Anuj?
Next
Tell
one
us.
is that okay? Out of the people who know, I understand that not many of them are not taking action, but out of them, how many you think that they have hope that this will be ever resolved?
I don't think anybody has any hope.
so that,
I think inside, subconsciously, I think we all do. I mean, it's one of the reasons we are still sticking around.
Uh-huh.
Think
No,
about it,
we
right?
do.
I mean,
Like people who are taking.
I'll still hope, right? I mean, yeah, when I see some Eagle Act update or some bill going, I'll yes, inherently it'll go up. I'm like, oh shit, you know what? It's so close, right?
Right.
It's like I just hope that it gets pushed through. I'll even take an EAD card, right? And I'm saying it out, right? Some people say reject it until you get. No, I'll take an EAD card also.
I'll
No,
take
no,
one.
I want advocate like mainly, but if they are giving it, I want.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I won't only advocate for it, yeah, but they're giving you say, you know what, don't take that, take this. I'll be like, thanks, I'll take it. You know what?
Yeah, of course.
But I mean, I think inherently everyone hopes, right? I mean, that's the sad part. Like the hope is killing us. It's preventing us from. We're stuck in limbo because of that hope.
And one thing which I observed, at least in many of my friends' lives, is it will also stagnate your career. You will not take risks
But
because you
Padma, do
want
they
that
have
stability.
hope or no?
Okay, sorry. Going back to the question, I
This
don't think
guy.
they have hope, and the only hope they have is they don't. So the hope they have is they don't. They hope that the government doesn't change the law. They want to keep the
So they
system
want
as is.
to. They
Renewal.
doesn't want it to go get bad. Then it is.
Yeah, they don't want it to get worse, but they are like whatever they are. Like, I mean, most of us, like, the challenge, we don't have sympathy from others is because we have good salaries. That is another part. We all have good salaries. That's the reason why
I
we
Good
don't
mean,
get
salary is
sympathy.
relative.
no, I
If
mean,
you're
I see the
driving a
point, right?
Tesla with
Yeah.
your kid, nobody will like come on. Hey, you're well off. Nobody, you have your own
I
home.
mean, I agree
You
with see,
drive.
Padmani. That's one of the reasons why I will never call this as like slavery or anything, right? I mean,
Uh,
like, everyone's like, we're the largest. I think there was some survey or something, right? I think if we looked at income
Yeah.
and from nationality, this
we
thing,
do
we're
that.
pulling in the largest,
Yeah.
right, from tech salaries and stuff. I've got friends in tech pulling in like in
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
incredibly high numbers, right? And
Let's
then we're saying,
let's
you know
just
what? So for someone who's not making that much to say, I feel sorry for these guys for making
yeah, yeah.
so much money.
That's money and not leaving this
No,
country.
but
Yeah, yeah.
around the slavery kind of things they say, and you and published the article, right? Whenever your employer is in control of your majority of your decisions of your life, right?
No, I
Then
would. I've never used that particular word,
like
Anuj. I'm
modern,
like, it's unfair that there's some aspects which say control, but you're
no,
using
but
a.
I'm gonna make this probably a video, right?
My
Because
God, Anuj, throw me into the bus.
Rahul, so just think about it.
Yeah, I
Like
just lost my Twitter followers. Thanks, Anuj.
not about you, but it's like okay, like let's say slavery happened and we made it that baseline. Said if it happens in this particular form, then it's slavery,
See,
and
Anuj, for
if
me,
anything
slavery is
other,
if I tie you up in my house and I just
right?
make you.
If
I
we
don't let
if
you. I
we
don't feed you. I don't let you out. I just make you do
yeah,
stuff.
if we made that definition that this is
Yeah,
slavery and anything
yeah,
else other than that it's not
yeah. It's
slavery,
just.
then the modern form of slavery will happen right in front of our eyes and we'll miss
No,
it.
see, the word I would use to describe the problem that we have is discrimination. I wouldn't go as far as to say this is slavery.
Yeah, people say modern slavery, which
I mean, see, again, for like, okay, maybe it's me, maybe it's my
right.
word,
No, no,
the way I
yeah,
see that word. But what I would describe what we're going through is discrimination, right? And
right,
that's a fair
yeah,
word.
and it's
Discriminating us based
you are right as
special
well that
rules
it's
based on the country we're from, or whatever it is, right? And that's discrimination, if you ask me.
right.
But is it? Would I go as far as to say
Discrimination,
this
there is
is?
no argument there, but yeah,
Yeah, but would I
slavery.
go as far as to call myself a slave to the system? No, I have the freedom to say, you know what, I'm done, guys. I'm moving to Canada, or like Atal, I'll move to El Salvador or wherever it is that he wants to
Right.
move. Right? That's freedom to make that choice. So I wouldn't go as far as to call myself that. Am I discriminated against? 100%, 100%. Yeah. I mean, this is my
I
two
mean,
cents.
No, 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 yeah,
Everyone's
yeah,
just
yeah.
perspective.
But
Right?
it's like sometimes
but you're
you
discriminated based on your
when
innate
when you use
inequality.
right words, you always don't get attention. Like Anil just said, right? The tweet he like if you tweet something very nice, no. So that's another thing. Anyways, Anil, I think you didn't answer. Like, how many people do you think that they have hope?
Well, to be frank, they just have hope that they will one day be able to file it to their child. That's the hope that they are
Exactly.
hanging
That's
on
Okay,
just
to.
yeah,
sad,
no,
right,
no,
Anil? Oh
I
man,
know.
that's just sad.
It is the
uh,
sad reality, but that's how it is. I have
right.
spoken to many people, and that's the only hope they have. Otherwise, they would have, they'll say that if that was not an option at all, then they would have moved.
I
Right.
mean, if you think about
People,
it, the US immigration system is every Indian parent's ideal setting, right? You get married so that you have a backup on a spouse visa. You have kids as soon as possible, so that by the time they're 21, you're still not too old.
So I think that this is forcing
You're
family
limiting
values, like
your
forcing
hedging
people to
against.
get married, forcing people to have kids.
I believe it's
So
like every Indian parent's dream come true, the US immigration system.
yes. And I think that is one of the main reason why US government is also not changing anything
but what if,
because
like,
they
let's
also
say
know.
someone is dependent on that and they are raising the kid And when the kid turns 20, he or she becomes rebel that I'm not gonna sponsor for whatever you did.
Oh my God, Anuj.
What happened?
That's
You
when we will
waited.
shoot Bhagwan Part 2
आप
from where you.
इसके लिए वो अपने देसी बैकअप चाइल्ड भी करके रखते हैं।
So that's the advice. Like, don't rely on
Anuj,
one.
you've got two kids.
But-
पद्मा पद्मा ने किया ना।
I have
you,
for both my kids. I have this email ID that I created for them. That I sort of joke that that is their inheritance. That's all they get. Uh, and I always I usually send these bills every once in a while. Hey, this is what I paid for. And
It's
if
funny you said inheritance, Padma. I put a tweet a long time ago that eventually 20, 30 years down the future, the inheritance that kids will be fighting for will be priority dates. You know?
that could, and then then like when she they turn 18, I will just ask them, hey, look at your emails. If you have questions, if you don't
That's
want to
actually
pay them, it's
brilliant.
okay.
do a live
Just get me the
stream.
green card.
That's very smart.
I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm not serious, but
But you
but I do send the emails. I do send the emails, but like half jokingly. So that at least if things get results, at least she finds out that how bad was it that I was actually sending her bills. Get a payback.
Anyways, next one.
Anuj, yeah, sorry. We deviated too much.
How many
You know what I
Americans?
don't have hope about, Anuj? The fact that you let us talk freely. That's what I don't have hope about now. Forget
Oh,
it.
no, come on.
This is slavery.
Where you talk? First Amendment violation.
That was a good one, Padma. That was really good.
Anil missed it.
Why is the light going off? Yeah, I'm worried about the light. Why is it getting dark?
That's something raw is conspiring. Anil. Anyways,
I think wrong initials is probably ice.
what was that, Rahul?
I said
My
wrong
phone is
initials is
going on
probably
screen.
ice.
Right. Okay, next one. How many Americans knows and understand the issue?
Very,
I mean,
very
all the
few.
managers know. All the American
Even
managers
then,
know.
Padma,
Right,
even
probably.
then, right? Even then, I feel like
Why you, Anil, why you laughing? On light or something?
Yeah, I agree with Padma here. All the managers know.
I feel like even a lot of them, even I feel like HR also doesn't really understand the gravity of the situation. Like,
Oh,
and also I feel like logically, if they knew that filing for something
Indian,
takes like
yeah.
40 years, they won't even file in the first place.
Right. Yeah.
So it's
Nobody
like,
would.
Arey,
yeah,
abhi
nobody would.
recently on one of the Facebook group, I read a comment. Somebody filed EB1A and he got the green card. He's an Indian. And he was saying that I don't want to disclose it to my company because my manager is also an Indian and he's in the queue, EB2 queue. So he will be see those kind of weird
He'll
things.
be
And his
pipped, he'll be on
manager.
pip right away.
If
That
you
engineer will have performance issues.
if you have followed that chain,
That's so sad.
But apparently he has to give that, work authorization, which is green card now for him. So he was worried how to, keep it
Clear.
hidden.
Yeah, that's hard. I mean, it is hard. Yeah. I mean, everybody. I mean, the older you get, the older you get in your career, the more you'll see. So when you're young, right? Like, I don't think green card will be a huge problem for you because you're young, you're working at the best place possible, and like everything is like all colorful. But slowly you hit your 30s, mid 30s, and come to 40s. Your career is getting stagnant. You cannot just take risks. You have to worry about your kid's life, and
Yeah, yeah.
if you take a risk and you lose your job, you have 60 days. So what you do, like standard move, like 8 out of 10 people would just take some senior job somewhere, safe job, they know they can handle
right.
it. They don't have to work, like they'll work 40 hours, they'll keep it. I mean, so and there will be people who will be like, no, there are a lot of people who actually risk it and start startups. Like, you are just making excuses. But I would say that those are like, those people are doing it besides the besides the limitations, like if you remove the limitation, a lot more people will actually do the startups. A lot of these people who do actually go beyond and do the startups are working with it beyond. I mean, they're taking a huge risk and it's working out, but there'll be a lot of people are not doing it because there are too many risks. And as you said, the older you get, you have too much to lose. And all the undocumented people, they don't have too much to lose. They're like,
Yeah,
this
that's
is the best case, and we have too much to lose. Like, if you get, like, if you go for a, like a protest or whatever, you want to go talk to people in public, and somebody finds out and somebody complains, and you lose all your career, and there'll be a 10-year bar on your. And they people say that, hey, it's not legally possible, but like, you don't know. The question is,
right.
you don't know. You don't want to be the first person. That's the scare. I mean, I see even Sriram said in his one of his videos that, hey, there is no, I did not know, I don't know one person who got screwed because he came out and talked about the immigration scenario, but nobody wants to be the first person. That's that's the scare. That's a scare. And it's, I mean,
Well
even
put.
yeah, even my name, all my names are disguised and all of that. So, in my defense, I'm just playing a character. I'm not the real
Right.
person. I'm an actor. This is all pretense.
No, but I think that yeah, some managers, if they work in tech, healthcare, probably they knows that okay, filing like green card for Indians, that's gonna be very challenging. They're never gonna get it. Probably majority of them, I don't think so. They understand that
Yeah.
why, and the nitty gritty.
They don't think it's 100 years. And they also are
Right,
like,
yeah.
okay, there are too many Indians, so they might be a long wait. But they don't see that, okay, only 2,000 Indians get a green card every year. That's like not many Indians.
Okay, anyways, this is last question, and then we can talk freely.
Oh, Anuj,
Freedom,
did I get
freedom.
it correctly? Holy shit!
There is no hope for backlog, but
Oh my
this.
god!
Okay, last question, kind of more
Padma
personal.
couldn't believe it. He fainted. He left.
Right? Yeah, he was like, what?
No, no, I was just drinking some water.
So last question, it's not about kind of general people, but like let's say that we are doing advocacy in different ways, in our own ways, and this is the way you are doing. If you want to see in within 1 year, this is, if you want to see that, okay, like let's say giving example that okay, if the area 51 podcast, if we reach this level, we would be very happy. And of course that the ultimate goal we want, that if the issue is not there in 1 year, that would be ideal. But we are talking about like okay, that's not resolved, but what would be something you would like to see that if this we can achieve in 1 year, we would be very happy with whatever you guys are doing.
I guess distribution, right? I mean, for at least the metrics that so recently when I looked at podcast rankings, I found out that we were in the top 3% of podcasts globally, right? And I was like, right, I
Oh,
was saying,
what?
I
What?
mean,
What?
yeah, I was on
That's huge.
listen notes. Yeah,
Uh,
it's all to be fair. Also, if you just keep putting out, eventually, I think people will reach it. But it's like, I guess, reach and distribution, right? The response that we've been getting is good. People are actually curious listening to this thing. They get educated. They reach out asking questions. Uh, like improve the dream episode. I've already got a few phone calls, or not phone calls, a few text messages on Twitter and on LinkedIn and stuff, asking how they can do, because they were all in the same problem,
right.
and they just didn't know that there were other people there, or if there were resources to what they can use, right? So I guess distribution, and I feel like once you
Like,
hit
what
that
do you mean
critical,
by distribution?
more
Like
people,
reaching
like
more people? Like
reaching more people, right? I'm
what
I'm
number
now
would make
limited by
you
the amount of people who follow me or
what
listen to the
number
podcast.
would make you happy that okay, right now it's
There are
this.
Sky's the
1,000 people
limit,
following
Anuj.
you. So that's the
But
Sky's the limit, right? As much as possible,
I
right?
mean, 1 million I think is the limit, but
right.
Yeah,
okay.
like as much as I can, because eventually, once you hit the critical mass stage, is when you can actually start influencing folks
Right.
Right.
to go ahead and imagine, like, you've got 1 million followers, and you were able to convince like a couple of 100,000 of them to actually post
Right.
about the green
Yeah.
card
something. Yeah.
backlog, or show up. You know what? Hey, Anuj is in your town. Can you go and show up and support my friend who's actually campaigning for all of us?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine the turnout that you would have had if you had a couple hundred
Yeah,
thousand
man. That's
folks
so.
for your 50th state, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right? It's
It would
like
have it would make news.
exactly,
Right.
exactly,
Yeah.
right? And it, that's the level that we're going to get. And then obviously connecting with people. I feel like we really don't have a platform to share our problems or our stories.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I envision it this to be at some point.
Okay.
So
Oh, yeah. That's
yeah,
that's great.
fingers crossed.
Yes. Yeah. Anil Padma.
So what was the question? So so by you asked,
What
I know you said what
like
would you be happy with, but like was it
what would be like
regarding the
one thing with in general or with what you are doing if you reach if you see this that would be make you very happy that okay this
So I
is
would say, I mean, very pragmatically, I would say like whatever that what's his name? I forget. There was this uh, politician who was like in the Democratic, but you met Anuj, right? The one in California. I forget his name.
Ro
He was
Khanna?
no, not Rokona. The not politician. Politician. He's like
Oh yeah Ajay
advocate.
Bhutoya Ajay
Ajay Jain, right?
Mhm.
So he was trying really hard to get that EAD
Oh okay yeah
for
uh-huh.
everybody in the I-140. I think if we get that, if we move that needle to getting an EAD, a lot of people will actually start participating because now they know they can't get kicked off because they're
Oh
not like.
no you can get kicked out even if you have green card.
You
But
just
you're,
can work freely. Yeah.
no, you can have your own company, right? You
Oh
don't
yeah
need to work
yeah
for somebody else. You can do contracting. Why somebody who do you kick? So right now, if you're on H1B, you cannot do
oh
contracting.
yeah you
So
have much more
you're
freedom than right now.
yeah,
I mean, they just
a
have
lot
to
more.
revoke. Uh, I mean, EAD means
Yes,
you
but
wouldn't have.
they won't.
So if you have an EAD, would you still need to keep renewing it? Is that? Do you guys know that?
No
Yeah, you have to renew it every 3 years, but you have to showcase that you are still working in tech.
you
Like
asking
you're like
about
you're
H1B or
getting
EAD?
EAD,
EAD.
not H1B. I
EAD
know.
now is 5 years. They issue EAD
5 years.
now for 5 years.
Okay.
You have to
I
renew
mean,
it every
let's
5
see
years,
the question of renewal still falls into place there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
but that has no limitation. The renewal will only as long as you are like in good standing, like there are no criminal records or there are no
So you're
background
telling me I
issues.
can work as a librarian and still get my
Yeah,
You
EAD?
yeah,
can do 4 jobs once you have EAD.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So
yeah, it's a
the
valid
point I'm
point,
trying to say
Padma.
is a lot of people will realize that now I have EAD, I can work on. I don't have not like tied to somebody deciding me whether I can work or
Yeah,
not work, or I can stay jobless for a period of time. So at that point, people will start thinking, okay, the only thing, the next step is green card. So they will be start pushing local politicians and local
I
council
think
members.
I have opposite view. I agree with the
Okay,
freedom part. I think
yeah.
that the advocacy,
I
whatever
know.
it
I
is.
said I will be happy with that.
Oh,
no,
oh
No, no,
yeah.
advocacy
Oh,
will be
okay,
dead.
okay.
Advocacy will be dead at that
Right.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no,
If
no.
we get,
Advocacy,
yeah, if we
but
get
advocacy
EADs,
will also be
Yeah.
easy
That I agree
to.
that would be nice. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
No, it will also be
I'll take
easy
it.
to have more advocacy. Like you can go, I can go talk to a congress member or whoever it is,
Yeah.
without fear. Now the question is fear. You can create groups without fear. You can
No, I
have
mean,
these
Padma,
all.
if I had EAD, I'll be honest, there'll be a good percentage of people who just drop out from the advocacy race
Oh
right
yeah.
there.
Whatever
Yeah,
small
you're like we
percentage
will
we
drop
talked
from
about, it's
25
there.
to 5.
From the 1,000 people we've got talking, it'll probably be 500. Right?
Right.
It's
Okay.
Yeah.
But again,
uh,
people
I'm
will
not
be
that it's a
happier.
bad
Right?
thing.
Okay.
I'll take it. Like I said, right?
Oh,
Whatever I
yeah.
get, I'll take.
Okay.
I'll be
No
happy.
ego there at all.
Yeah, I don't think that EAD will make a huge difference because I know thousands of people did get EAD in 2021 when the dates moved, but hardly like 10% would have used it. They are
Yeah,
still
that's a
maintaining
different thing, I
That's
H1B
one,
guess.
yeah. Because the
because the
immigration laws change
attorneys and the law is such that if get if something gets denied in future, then all of this time will get
I
invalidated
still
or
get the
something
flight
happens.
access.
Attorneys
Yeah,
create that kind of fear,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
and
no, yeah.
nobody is actually really practically using it. I mean, there is no
Yeah, but
harm in using it, but and the second thing that I would say is if it happens, it will definitely help improve the mental health
Oh yeah,
because
significantly,
people will stop
significantly.
thinking about it. It's an unnecessary stress
Mm-hmm.
put on, especially on Indians, because even if you don't think about it, there is something in the back of your mind that
Mm-hmm.
there is a fear.
Absolutely.
Right? The
yeah,
the
Absolutely.
fear is always there at the time of extension, at the time of traveling. You
And the work
always
you do.
worry about what will happen. Will I be
Yeah.
able to return? What will happen to my car, home,
Can I
schooling,
do
and
this? Can
everything?
I do this? I can't do this. Like it's very restrictive. So it's
You
like you
can't
have
get
to
a
think. Yeah.
driving license. You get a driving license for God's sake for five
Yeah,
years.
driving
Oh
license.
yeah,
Let's start with the basics.
yeah.
Let's
Right.
have a
Yeah,
driving license first. Yeah.
exactly.
I don't have a stamp, so I get my driving license renewed every year. Every year until I get stamped.
Oh, I think so.
Oh, which
California,
state
like
is it?
not
California.
797 based on seven
No,
nine
they don't
seven.
give you. They only give. So they.
Either you should have nothing, no paper. That's one thing.
Yeah, yeah. Like a lot of the state, if you don't have paperwork, they give you 7 years.
Sorry,
But if you
I
have
meant to say.
valid visa, they give you for the duration of your
Then,
visa.
No,
then
they
they
don't give
open
me this
Two
global
extremes.
then
ID.
they open their heart. Then they open their heart.
Two extremes.
Either you should. No. They don't give. They give me the regular license, but they don't give me the one which I can travel with. What is that called?
Parole.
The
Advance parole.
no. When for driving license ID,
Oh,
the
for
ID
driving
which
license. Okay, okay.
no, even for your ID,
Real
like
ID.
if
Real ID.
real ID, they won't give me the
Yeah,
real ID because
right.
there's no stamp.
They gave you fake
they-
ID.
Mhm. See, this is how dumb the things are, right? The reason the government had to give the previously there was no real ID. I think the federal government had to come up with a real ID is because all these states were starting to issue driving licenses to uh,
Yeah.
undocumented
No,
people.
not only
So,
that, right? I was fine. So my colleague has a brother in, I think, Alabama or something, right? Or one of the states there. He issued his driving license for like some 40 years. So he's like a 40-year-old man, but the photo there is like him as he's just 18 or 19 or something, and that's the driving license he has. He sent me a photo. So it's impossible, right? You can give that to anybody and you'll take a flight.
Right.
That's what they made it
It
mandatory.
that
Legal ID.
also that
It
could be
happened
true.
with me once. Me and my wife both went for the driving lessons. She was a dependent on H4, and they found her record in the system. They gave her 3-year driving license, and they rejected me, saying we can't find your I-94.
Oh
I
my
said
God.
I am the primary. She can't get it if I
That's
am
not
not
how
here.
things work.
Yeah. So, and we had the approvals in hand. They said no. We can't. You won't believe I was not able to drive. She was,
I went to like India once, and the immigration officer, when he saw my passport, I came to the US in 2009. I think I was visiting India in 2017 or something. And he looked at my picture and he's looking at me and he's like, "What happened?"
What happened?
I was
Green
like,
card
"Yeah,
backlog.
man." Green card backlog, yeah. Anil, you didn't answer.
didn't I give
What
the
you
answer?
would be happy,
You did?
what would you be happy with?
Within a year.
Anuj,
Yeah, I
you're asking the wrong person. Anil's going to get his CB5 very soon. He'll be like, see you guys.
This
I might
Ready for
grow.
the live stream again.
Good luck with your.
Good luck.
We might grow some 4 or 5 hairs.
yeah,
If
yeah.
I,
Or maybe we will start losing. Hmm. Or maybe religious.
Religious visa. I think I should start exploring that idea.
That's
EB1,
I don't.
for EB1A, they relax the terms, you know. So there are a lot of companies who have come up who are working as a PR firm to create your profile and then file EB1.
Hmm.
It's all like paid work. You pay them and then they tell you what to do,
I
and
have
then
never heard about this kind of companies.
yeah, there are. Yeah, yeah.
People can't find sarcasm.
Fascinating,
man.
right, guys? The support economy that has been
I
built
know.
around the immigration thing. It's not just lawyers. There's like
Yeah.
if you throw a stone, it'll bounce off 3 EB1 consultants. This point,
Right.
it's like that many people are there. It's like forget India for the visa consultants. We've got the same thing here also. It's like the support economy that has been built around this thing is just mind
They,
blowing.
yeah, and there are companies that in India they are selling the EB5, they're selling EB1 as a package that they will get it done.
Seriously,
They are
I
even
got a message on LinkedIn, right? Someone messaged me saying, "I will write your EB1 petition." Someone in India
yeah
who's never stepped foot into America is offering to
yeah
write my EB1 petition.
But it's
How much
coming
do
yeah
they
from
charge?
India. Like, let's
I
say
didn't, I didn't even pursue the conversation, dude. I saw it.
there
I'm like, get
are,
lost. No way.
you're talking about EB1, but there are like a lot of ads I see for EB2 NIW as well. That okay, we'll do
yeah
EB2 NIW,
NIW.
and that's done a lot by raw. Then there
But
is
there's no
EB3.
difference with NIW, right? What is the difference? You just
No
get.
For
difference. It's
us,
just
it's
tied to your
not,
name. That's tied to your
Padma.
name. Yeah.
Padma, for us it's not, but for others, even EB2 NIW, you don't require job offer. You can self petition, and it's much easier criteria than EB1. So a lot of the people who
Yeah, I
are,
mean,
as long
there is
as
a
you are
benefit. Yeah.
not born in India, there is huge benefit.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're born in India,
Oh,
it gives you some more flexibility to just keep jumping ship whenever you want. You don't
That's
have
what
to.
I
Yeah.
thought, but then I heard that like depending on your EB2 NIW how it is approved. Uh,
Oh yeah,
you
companies have a clause at the end if they still want to retain the power. So a lot of nice companies do it where they actually, I forget what the exact term, but when they file it, they will
no,
keep it in the dependents, keep it in the applicant's name.
right.
So if,
No,
Anuj, if you
no.
have it and you go, you can get it
That
wherever
as
you
well,
go.
but like I'm talking about self petitioning, right? EB2 NIW, you can self petition, but the way you prepared your petition, is it tied to the work you are currently doing?
Yes, yes.
And is it like only if you are working at this company?
Not company.
Not
That
company,
sector.
but like if you move and if that work is very different, then I heard that when you file, they can revoke your
So
NIW.
what you're saying is
Yes.
been happening for EB1 cases also.
Right.
For example, if tomorrow Anil gets an EB1 for some software thing that he's built or something and he decides to quit and he becomes a content creator, there have been cases where they've come back and revoked that EB1 saying you are
but
not doing what you proposed to
Green
do.
card? You're talking about green card?
EB1 something. I've read 2-3 articles where they said that where you
so
get
once
an
you get the
EB1
green
approved
card,
for something.
I don't
Not
know.
but
after
once you
getting
get
green card, if you get an
ah,
EB1 approved also, it's
Okay.
now a 6-7
and
year
then
wait.
Right,
Even for
right.
right,
EB1.
is it is
Go
it?
It's
ahead.
I thought
2022
it was
August.
current, right?
No,
No,
2022 August, if I
not
remember
for
correctly.
India.
Yeah.
Only if
So
you have
so I
earlier.
always can you explain what is the difference between, like, I heard like getting an EAD is different from getting the actual green card for EB1. Like what is the timeline different? Is it because you're so let's say if you're 2021 or 2020 and you file your EB1 green card, will you get your green card right away, or is it still like you only get
Only
a
if you
EAD
have
and wait
earlier
for?
priority date. Otherwise,
Yeah,
if the visa is not available to you, then they send you the EAD. That if your
but
wait
why
is
would you, if you are before 2022, the visa should be available for you, right?
as long as you are under the like your filing chart is current, they will send you EAD. If your final action date is current, then they will send you green card.
But what is the difference between final action date and the current date?
Uh,
Filing, dates of filing.
Filing is when you can file,
Yeah.
and final is when you are like. So basically, like let's say final action date is January 2021. That means that anyone who has filed before that, everyone should have
Oh,
received that. Uh,
oh, so the filing date also matters. So just your priority date doesn't matter.
No.
there
Yeah.
are two
So
priority
Oh,
dates, right? One is
God.
filing and one is
yeah.
So
So
if you
charge.
the
file
way
today,
Mm.
the
go
way
ahead.
I explain it to people is that filing date is when they think that they can deliver a baby, but
Okay.
final date is when they actually deliver it,
Yeah.
and it's not necessarily 9 months.
Yeah,
If
that's
they
true.
think
No,
they
no.
can deliver in
So
next 12 months, they will give a filing date.
Mhm.
Okay, but the final action can be 10 years away.
Yeah.
so
So that's what
so let's
happened
say
with
if
the
I
COVID,
file.
Padma, as well, right? That they thought that okay, they have so many green cards, they took the application, but now they don't have the green card. So they are sitting on that application. Everyone has the EAD, but not green card.
Right. So if I
Yeah.
file today, October 24, today, and my priority date is 2020. So I will not get a green card
I think you
today.
will because you have earlier priority date of 2020. I
But
think
filing date also matters, right?
no, 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 no. Filing means not 140, filing of 485. So filing date is that day you can file 485. So as long as you are within filing date, then you can file 485. This is not talking about your filing of 140.
So filing date will always be ahead of final action.
Right.
Yeah,
Always.
yeah. Even now, Padma, for EB1, right? Filing date is April 15th, April 2022. Final action date is Feb 1st, 2022
Yeah. So if you have
for
2020
EB1.
priority date, you
Yeah,
can port it and you will get it right away as long as you
yeah.
have earlier priority date. But not
Okay.
someone
Okay.
getting approved
Because
without
I was
earlier
okay.
priority
Filing date
date,
would be
their wait
24,
time is
isn't it?
hmm?
Wouldn't my filing date would be 24 because I'm filing it today?
No, 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 no,
Or
no,
am
no.
I
No.
You are
getting
confusing two
okay?
filing dates of your priority date with the filing date. These are different. Your priority
Okay.
date is fixed now. I guess 2020 or whatever it is.
Okay.
That will remain. Your
Okay.
priority
So it
Filing,
date.
doesn't matter. If I
filing,
file today, I'll get it. If for EB1, if hypothetically I'm not filing, but anyway.
filing is like they call you and pay them the money and
Right,
then
yeah.
All the filing
they,
documentation, all that.
EB1 is
yeah,
approved.
it's like you can reserve a seat in the restaurant by filing date,
Okay.
but you will get to sit only when the final action date is
Right.
coming.